Hello ladies and gentlemen. In this tutorial we're going to learn about activities. What exactly is an activity? An activity is a single focused thing that a user can do. So for example, this application has just one activity called the main activity, and here it how it looks like. Let's talk about life cycle of activities. So you can think about an activity as a living organism. It gets born, and we already used this onCreate method to initialize objects in it, and it lives, and eventually it dies either by us killing it or the Android system freeing up some memory. So the life cycle of an activity. Here we have the official documentation. So an activity gets called, then onCreate gets called, then onStart, onResume, and here the activity is visible to the user. onPause, this is partial visible, onStop, hidden, and eventually onDestroy. To understand this a little better, let's see how we can create two activities in this application. So let's add a button here, and let's call it button activity 1. Activity 2, and let me put an edit text here. Name it activity 1. In fact, let's name it main activity. Let's make it red and a little bigger. And let us create another layout for the second activity. And here is how I do it in this text mode. This button should have another ID, and go to activity 1. Okay. So we have here two XML files, each belonging to their own activity, but we didn't create the second activity yet. So let's go ahead and create a new Java class called second activity, and you begin by writing extends activity, and you write on C onCreate, press enter, and now we created another activity. But if you look at the main activity, immediately after onCreate, it's linked to this specific layout. So let's link our second activity to activity second. Okay. And now let's get a reference to each button to do something when we press a button. In fact, we switch between activities. So we have in activity main button activity 1. Let's go ahead and inject, but I forgot to import pattern knife. So I'm gonna just write in Google butter knife Android and import it. Okay, sync it. Now we can use it. Have we missed anything? No. Let's do the same for our second activity. I will just copy paste and modify it because it's faster. Okay, and let's write the on-click method. Don't mind this on create menu, this just adds this menu here. We will take a look at it a little bit later. Okay, so in our main activity we have on click and let's make a toast to make sure everything goes good. Don't forget to put show after each time you call toast. You can drag and drop here to adjust them to be better, to be faster, switching them. Let's do the same in our second activity, but we want to put the button too, and here we call this context. It's in the context of the second activity. Okay, let's go ahead and test our program. So we have our main activity, but the button doesn't do anything, just displays the toast. So how do we go to the second activity? It's easy. You do it like this. You call something called an intent. An intent is something that suggests an operation that will be performed, and it is used to glue as a glue between activities, and you can also pass data between different activities and do lots of other things. For example, you use an intent to dial a phone, to view a contact, to start a web page. So we're going to use an intent. Let's go ahead and import it. Go to second intent, and its new intent. You give the context in which you are currently, and you put comma and you type second activity dot class, and you write start activity, and you start this with intent. This is all that we have to do to go to a second activity. Let's go ahead and run it. it will be better if you write this down on a piece of paper, because you will be using it a lot. Okay, so we have our main activity, and when we click go to activity 2, you see the application has stopped functioning. Why? Now, I left this intentionally because I want to talk a little about debugging. When this thing happens, the first thing you need to do is look in the log, and here in the log you see appearing with red, and it says fatal exception main process blah blah blah, activity not found, unable to find explicit activity class, and it even says, have you declared this activity in your Android manifest XML? So it seems like we have to declare every activity in the XML. Let's open the XML, and right after our main activity, let's declare a new activity. You see, this Android Studio does lots of hard work for us. So everything I did, I just open a parenthesis, press enter, and just press arrow down, press enter, and basically this all that I had to do. You can give it a label too, you can add different stuff, but should be enough for now. Let's clear this lockout, and voila, we go to our second activity. Now nothing happened when we click go to main activity. Let's modify it fast. Let's just copy paste this intent, and instead of this put second, instead of this put main. And there you go. We can go between different activities. Why this one has an action bar, it's called, and the other doesn't? Because our main activity, it's an action bar activity, which is basically an activity a little bit more special. While we play with this, we click back, our main activity starts, but when we click back again, you expect to go out of the application, but instead the second activity starts. We continue to click back. We see that it's like a back stack, and our previous actions that we did restart again until eventually we go out of the app. So here's a quick fix for this. We can define in our manifest an activity not to be in history. So how to do this? Inside the activity team definition, just type no, and no history appears, and put it through. This is used to show that we don't want the screen to be kept in history. So we just go to activity, second activity. We can click to many times, and if we click back, we go to main. But if we click back again, we also go to main, because the main activity is kept in history. So in order to fix it, we go to our second activity and we just have to add a little bit of information to this intent, and to show to tell to this intent that we want to start like a new task and to clear everything that happened previously. So we just have to add some flags, it's called, and it's called clear top, and put an or to add another flag, new task. And let's try it again. And everything is working as intended. So this is all about activities. Now, as a homework, I want you to add a third activity and also add another button in the second activity, and I want a transition between first, second, third. You click back, you go to the second activity, you click back again, you go to the main activity, you click back again, you go to the you exit the application. Not exit, you send it in the background. So pause the video and do the homework, because I'm going to reveal the solution now. So what I did, I just copy paste the second activity. I created another layout for it and called third activity, and added another button on it with a unique ID, button activity 3. Go to second activity. In the manifest, I removed no history true from the second activity because we want to keep it in history, but I added no history to the third activity. And in the main I didn't change anything. In the second activity I put the third activity as an action for button in the button with a clear top and new task, and also in the third activity I put the second activity. So let's go ahead, and it's working very nicely. Now this homework might be a little bit difficult. Don't worry if you didn't manage to do it. We will start and stop and play with activities a lot in the tutorials that will come, and you will have a good understanding of what an activity is. Hello ladies and gentlemen. In this tutorial we're going to learn about activities. What exactly is an activity? An activity is a single focused thing that a user can do. So for example, this application has just one activity called the main activity, and here is how it looks like. Let's talk about life cycle of activities. So you can think about an activity as a living organism. It gets born, and we already used this onCreate method to initialize objects in it, and it lives, and eventually it dies, either by us killing it or the Android system freeing up some memory. So the life cycle of an activity, here we have the official documentation. So an activity gets called, then onCreate gets called, then onStart, onResume, and here the activity is visible to the user on pause. This is partial visible on stop, hidden, and eventually on destroy. To understand this a little better, let's see how we can create two activities in this application. So let's add a button here. And let's call it button activity 1. Activity 2. And let me put an edit text here. Name it activity 1. In fact, let's name it main activity. Let's make it red and a little bigger. And let us create another layout for the second activity.